Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist and I'm creating a video every day for a year. This is video 242. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you had a wonderful day or evening, whatever time it is. And are you getting ready for the snow coming? I'm in Oklahoma, so there is just like, it looks like 10 inches or maybe more coming. So today, it was just crazy. Today, I just kind of like, I made an order yesterday actually for groceries, and like they're out of water, you know, and other people are telling me they're out of bread everywhere, and like random types of cheese, and it's just like crazy. So anyway, we don't, around here at least, we don't get a lot of snow really. So it's like the town shuts down when there's 1 or 2 inches. So this is going to be a slightly bigger storm. So I was talking to a few people about it today, and everybody's just kind of excited, but a little bit like, not fearful, but like anxious. So I'm excited for it to come. But yeah, if you are ever worried about anything, remember that we create that worry from definitions that we give to things and meanings. And you can change your mental state at any time that you want to. And so I was talking to somebody about that today, about, we were talking about goals and how to emotionally regulate, and you know, all the things we always talk about on this channel. And I was talking to her about changing her dopamine levels, you know, when they go up when you watch short form videos and things like that on TikTok. And you know, they were comparing themselves to other girls, and I've talked to boys about this too. They compare themselves to other boys. And so I said, well, how about, you know, since you're not sleeping very well, let's go ahead and maybe try to shut the screens off an hour before bed. And I was like, you know, do you think you could commit to that? Or not, you know, I was kind of not complaining. I was telling her about how important it is to turn off the screens an hour before bed, and how it can kind of keep you a little bit on when you're trying to relax for the evening. And I said, how about like an hour? You know, do you think you could do that and just turn your screens over to your parents? How nuts would they think you are? Like, wow, you just did this? Like, how mature of you? And she was like, well, can I do like 40 minutes maybe before? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. So it was just so funny because everybody's got their thing that works for them. And I, of course, over the years have humbled myself so much because we think we have a blueprint for people. And, you know, we see a need, somebody needs help with something, and we're like, let me help you. I've got the answer. You do A, B, and C, and then you get D from doing all three of those things. And people hear things, but they might not be on the level that you're on. That frequency that you're on. And then you got to check yourself and say, am I trying to control them by helping them? You know, am I really helping them, or am I enabling them? Am I trying to control something? Am I doing this to feel needed? You always want to check your energy behind everything. And so that was just one example today of just like trying to, you know, change habits to get an end goal. Because I explained, this is a really young kid, and I was explaining how the little habits that we do daily, consistently, add up into success later, whatever that looks like for the individual. And so just committing with these small baby steps, like turning the devices off 40 minutes before bed, that could turn into something, or it could not. I said, you might hate it, or you might love it. You might find that you love turning the screens off. And so I think we all need to just always think, you know, what if I did something different? And what could be the outcome of that if I decided to commit to something? And I said, even just try it for a week and see how it goes, you know, and you just try things and see how you like them. And sometimes you might need to try something for a year. You might need to commit for a whole year. But so we have to do things in a certain way with intention and focus. And when you do that, it's almost like, you think of a goal that you want. You can call it a goal. You can call it a challenge, you know, whatever you want to call it. And you just decide what steps you're going to take and commit to yourself and do those daily tasks that get you there. Because it's all about the small daily, I call it maintenance, really. It's like, It's my foundation. It's how I maintain my sanity. I will call it sanity. We're not even going to call it happiness. We're going to call it, this is how I maintain my sanity so that I am happy. Because there's sanity under happiness, I think for the most part. We have to have sanity. So in an insane world. And so we've got to create our own sanity through our own habits. And we've got to decide what those habits are for us individually, because there's 8 billion different perspectives out there, 8 billion different worlds. And so just because we might think that we have the answers for other people does not mean that we do. So that's wherever we go back to, there's no one to change but self, what Neville always said. You just go within yourself. And so I was reading, I have The Science of Getting Rich here, of course, and it is, one of my favorites. And one of the things they say, of course, is a man's way of doing things is the direct result of the way he thinks about things. So we have to really remember that we've got to think differently. We've got to think unconventionally, I call it. It's like, I don't want to think like other people do. I don't want to believe most of the things I used to believe. I was in victim mindset, I would call it, and for so long, and you don't even know you're in victim mindset. That's the crazy thing about it. It's like the more you are telling the same story, the more you're complaining, the more you're blaming, just mostly like telling the same old story. That's where I was like in my mind, just repeating things, ruminating on things. And so when you're doing that, I heard Sammy Ingram, if you don't know who she is, check her out. She's got like 200, I don't know, almost 300,000 followers, I think, 250. I came across her back in 2020. She's so funny. And she was talking about how she talks about repetition a lot, which I love to talk about too, but everything takes repetition, and she's like, what you repeat obviously manifests. And so we don't know it, but we're repeating negative things so much. And you might say, well, no, I'm not repeating an affirmation that is negative. And it's like, well, every time you're blaming, complaining, telling the same old story, thinking about what your mom said when you were 10 years old, and all these things that happened and might still be happening, we're affirming them all day long. So it's just about recognizing, what am I telling myself on a daily basis about myself, about other people? What am I assuming? Because all of these things are turning into your daily habits, which are contributing to your success or lack thereof, whatever success means to you. So success can mean anything to anybody. Success can mean $1 million in the bank. Success could mean just having a meal that night. Success could mean having a house or a shack. I mean, everybody's different. And so success is whatever you think it is. So your daily habits and the way you think about things are going to equal that success or lack thereof. So really keep that in mind, that what am I repeating on a daily basis, and what am I imagining? Because everything is in your imagination, as we know. And I still have fun. This is my favorite thing to do now, is I literally, and I don't know how to explain this other than how I'm going to explain it, but I pretend and think like everything I'm seeing, which I really think this might be true, but of course, no one has the answers. I will not profess to have any answers, but this is just kind of what I've come up with, is that everything in my world that I'm seeing and everything I'm hearing, and every let's say I watch the news, which I don't, but if I see the news, it's going to show me things that I need to see. Everything that, if I could talk, it's the end of the day, man, I've been talking all day. Everything that's around me is showing me. So I just pretend like this world that I'm in is only for me, and no one really exists. They just come in to my world whenever I'm ready for them. The news stories come on when I'm ready to see them. My favorite songs come on whenever I'm ready to hear them. Like, no one else can hear what I'm hearing, really. It's just kind of like me alone here. It's so fun to play that game, because I'm like, oh, well, this person's at work right now. And then I'm thinking, they don't actually exist. Like, they're wherever I want them to be right now. It's just, I play that game. It's just so fun to think that way. So weird to think that way, that we might be alone, in our perceived world. It's just so, I don't know, I just have fun doing that for some reason. So I look at everything like, oh, that means something for me. That's telling me something about myself, or something that I needed to think about or change my thoughts about. So Yeah, I just do that for fun. And then, but I had to tell myself so many times, hey, you're in the victim mindset right now. Like, we don't need to talk like that anymore. We don't need to think like that anymore. We've got to decide with intention and commit to being the new self, because the old self will rear its head. I don't want to say ugly head, but it will rear its head and remind you who you were a lot if you don't repeat. So let's repeat the new self. How do you want to think? What do you want to think about mostly during the day? And take your mind there, because it really makes logical sense that what you think about most is what you're going to start seeing pop up. And so the more I just started telling myself, like, hey, you're in victim land, like, we don't want to be like that anymore. And you just have to get so sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's really what it boils down to. And then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. I can use my mind and work with the laws of the universe on purpose instead of by default, which is what we've always done. So repeat what you want to see, repeat it. Just repeat it in your mind and watch what you are repeating daily that does not serve you. Watch your words, watch your definitions that you give things. Just watch everything. Just observe yourself, get to know yourself. And I had this little client. She was like, I'm learning how to like notice what I'm feeling in the moment, because before I had no idea. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. So you just got to know, what am I feeling right now and why am I feeling this? Because things don't come out of the blue. We're like, oh, this feeling came over me from nowhere. And it's like, no, it really didn't. It was there. It just is alerting you more to it now. So the more you're present with yourself, the more you're going to see what where your thoughts have been. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. I'm going to ramble the rest of the night. So you all take good care of yourself tonight. And if the snow is coming, I think it's coming tomorrow night. I don't know. But if you get hit with the snow tonight, be careful. Stay inside. Don't drive, because it's just pointless to drive right now. Just enjoy being snowed in for a couple days or more, and just enjoy. Just enjoy. So take some time off. Get some rest, because we only get this maybe a couple times a year. I don't know. So remember, you're so loved. Pass that on to somebody who might need to hear it today or tonight. And remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.